Hey there, and welcome back to the Simple AI Guide, where we take the complicated world of artificial intelligence and explain it in plain English. My name is Hope. Today we are discussing something that you may have a need to use: how to use ChatGPT to plan a family reunion, from the very first brainstorm all the way through the big day itself. Now, if you have ever tried to organize a family reunion, you know exactly how chaotic it can get. You are juggling schedules for dozens of people, trying to find a place that works for everyone from toddlers to great grandparents, managing a budget that always seems to stretch a little further than it should, and somehow keeping multiple generations of relatives happy and fed. It is a lot. It can feel like herding cats, and that is putting it kindly. But here is the good news. ChatGPT can take a huge amount of that stress off your shoulders. Not by doing everything for you, it cannot book a venue or send an email on your behalf, but by acting like a very smart, very patient planning partner who is available around the clock, never gets tired, and never runs out of ideas. And before we go any further, let me say this. You do not need to pay for any premium subscription to get everything we are going to talk about today. The free version of ChatGPT is completely capable of handling every single step in this guide. So, let's get into it. We are going to walk through 7 steps, and by the time we are done, you will have a complete picture of how to use ChatGPT as your reunion planning headquarters. Family reunions are more popular right now than they have been in a long time. According to recent event planning data, roughly 200,000 family reunions take place across the United States every single year, with the overwhelming majority happening between June and August. Group travel for 6 or more people has surged 67% year over year, and 76% of Americans now plan trips around milestones, things like birthdays, anniversaries, and yes, family reunions. So, the family reunion has never been more popular, and honestly, never more logistically complex. That is exactly where ChatGPT shines. Think of ChatGPT as a thoughtful, endlessly patient assistant who has read every event planning book ever written and is available 24 hours a day at zero extra cost. Unlike a search engine that hands you a list of links to sort through on your own, ChatGPT holds a real conversation with you. It asks clarifying questions, it remembers the details you mention, and it tailors every suggestion to your specific family size, your budget, and your situation. The tool works best as a starting point, something that narrows your options and creates strong first drafts that you then refine with your own judgment and knowledge of your family. That is a perfect description of how to use it. All right, step 1, kick off the planning with the right prompt. The single biggest mistake people make with ChatGPT is being too vague. If you type, "Help me plan a family reunion," you are going to get a generic checklist that could apply to literally anyone. The secret is giving ChatGPT context. The more specific details you provide, the more useful and personalized the response will be. We will be reviewing several prompts in this podcast. You can find the original versions at our website, ai4everyone.ai. Some have been modified here for demonstration purposes. Copy and modify the prompts for your own family reunion. The link will be in the show notes. What experienced planners call a briefing prompt is the way to start. Here's a template you can adapt for your own family. You would type something like this: "I am planning a family reunion for approximately 50 people, ranging in age from 3 years to 98 years old. We are hoping to gather in September somewhere near Austin, Texas. People will be coming from Oregon, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Alabama. We anticipate that the gathering will last 2 days. 2 people live in the Austin area, and 3 more will be provided with lodging by family members. Our overall budget is around $10,000. The family includes 2 vegans, 1 person with soy and shellfish allergies, 3 people who are lactose intolerant, 2 people who use walkers, and 3 people who use a wheelchair. Help me create a master planning checklist broken into phases: 6 months out, 3 months out, 1 month out, 1 week out, and day of." When you give ChatGPT that level of detail, it produces a phased timeline tailored to your actual situation rather than a one-size-fits-all list. Save that response somewhere, because it becomes your planning headquarters for every conversation that follows. Here's a trick that makes ChatGPT even more useful. It remembers everything you say within a single conversation, so you can build on your earlier responses without having to repeat yourself every time. After you get the master checklist, follow up with specific tasks. You could say, "Now expand on the venue selection section," or Give me 3 budget-friendly alternatives to renting a pavilion. Each follow-up sharpens the output and keeps you moving forward. Step 2. Nail down the date and venue. Locking in a date and location is the foundation of everything else. Before any invitations go out, you need a confirmed spot. ChatGPT can help you think through this decision systematically, comparing options side by side instead of letting you spiral through endless possibilities. Here is a prompt that works well. My family of 50 is spread across Oregon, Colorado, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Alabama. Suggest 5 venue types that would work for a multi-generational group with pros and cons of each. Consider that we have elderly relatives who need easy access and young children who need open space. ChatGPT will typically suggest things like state park pavilions, church fellowship halls, community recreation centers, vacation rental properties, and resort conference spaces. And it will explain the real trade-offs of each: cost, availability, how kid-friendly versus elder-friendly they are, whether you need to bring your own supplies or if they are provided. Family reunion planning researchers found that more than 57% of family reunions include between 50 and 149 attendees. Families are increasingly opting for longer stays, 6 nights or more, to really immerse themselves in the experience together. That trend toward destination reunions means venue research has never been more important to get right. Once you have narrowed things down to 2 or 3 options, ask ChatGPT to help you make a comparison table. You would say, compare these 3 venues and list their names on cost, capacity, accessibility, amenities, and proximity to lodging. Seeing options side by side rather than trying to hold them all in your head at once makes decisions faster and more rational. On the question of picking a date, ask ChatGPT to draft a quick survey you can send to family members using a free tool like Doodle or Google Forms. A prompt like, write 5 multiple-choice questions to survey my family about their preferred reunion dates, travel distances, and accommodation preferences, produces a polished survey in seconds that you can paste directly into your form builder. Step 3. Build and track your budget. Budget conversations are honestly where ChatGPT really earns its keep. Most families underestimate reunion costs because they focus on the big-ticket items, venue, and food, and completely forget about dozens of smaller expenses that add up fast. Decorations, paper goods, activity supplies, printing, postage, and contingency funds for last-minute needs. Those things sneak up on you. Here's a prompt to get a comprehensive budget framework. Act as an event planner. I have a budget of $10,000 for a family reunion of 50 people. Create a detailed line-item budget with categories for venue, food and beverages, decorations, activities, printing, and communications, travel assistance for elderly relatives, contingency, and miscellaneous. Show both a total and a per-person cost. ChatGPT will produce a structured budget you can copy right into Google Sheets or Excel. Then you can ask follow-up questions like, which of these categories typically run over budget at family reunions, and how can I plan for that? Or, what are 5 ways to reduce the food and beverage cost without sacrificing quality? You can also use ChatGPT to work out a fair cost-sharing arrangement if different family branches are contributing. Try something like, we have 4 family branches contributing to this reunion. Create a fair cost-sharing formula that accounts for the number of people each branch is bringing, including children under 10 at half price. It will do that math for you and present it in a way that you can easily share with the family. Step 4. Write invitations and announcements. Even if your family has a group text going, a well-written invitation sets the tone and communicates all the essential logistics in one place. ChatGPT can write your invitation, your save-the-date message, your follow-up reminder, and even your last call nudge, each one customized to the right level of warmth or formality for your family. Try this. Write a warm and friendly family reunion invitation for 50 people. The reunion is on September 15th and 16th at Austin Fun Gardens. Include a brief description of the schedule, directions for RSVPing, what to bring, and a note about dietary accommodation requests. Keep the tone casual and inviting. Then follow up with, now write a shorter save-the-date version of that same invitation that I can send as a text message. No more than 3 sentences. ChatGPT will give you something short, warm, and ready to copy and paste. If your family reunion is large enough that you want something more organized than a group text, ChatGPT can help you outline a simple 1-page informational website. You can then use a free tool like Google Sites or Canva to bring it to life. You do not need to be a web designer to put together something clean and useful. Step 5. Plan multi-generational activities. This is honestly the heart of a great reunion, and also one of the hardest things to get right. When you have a 4-year-old and an 85-year-old who will be at the reunion together, figuring out activities that genuinely work for everyone takes some creativity. ChatGPT is exceptional at this challenge because you can give it the full picture of your family and ask it to design a schedule that brings generations together rather than splitting them apart. Research into what works at family reunions suggests that the best activities for mixed age groups fall into 3 categories: heritage experiences, things like storytelling circles and memory stations, interactive games that span generations, and personalized touches like family specific themes and memory book stations. The key is designing activities that create connections across age groups rather than putting the kids in one corner and the grandparents in another. Here is a prompt that works well. Plan a 4-hour activity schedule for a multi-generational family reunion with guests ranging from age 3 to age 85. Include 3 anchor activities everyone does together, 2 optional breakout activities for different age groups running simultaneously, and 1 memory-making activity such as a photo station or family history project. Keep everything accessible for guests with limited mobility. Let me share some specific ideas that consistently work well across generations. A family trivia game is always a hit, with questions spanning different decades so that grandparents and grandchildren both have a chance to shine. A memory book station is wonderful too. You set out printed family photos, blank pages, stickers, and craft supplies, and guests of all ages contribute to it throughout the day. A heritage recipe swap bank where each family branch brings a dish from a family tradition along with recipe cards to take home is another one that people talk about for years afterward. A scavenger hunt can be designed so that younger family members need older relatives' help with history clues and vice versa. That kind of built-in collaboration is magical for bringing generations together, and a simple family photo booth, just a backdrop with some fun props and a QR code linking to a shared album, gives everyone something to do in between activities and sends people home with memories. Ask ChatGPT to generate a full activity description for any of these, including supply lists, step-by-step instructions, and backup plans for bad weather. That last part is important. Always have a backup plan. Step 6. Organize the food and meals. Food is where family reunions either soar or stumble. Managing dietary restrictions, allergy concerns, picky eaters across multiple generations, and enough quantity to feed everyone without massive waste is genuinely complicated. ChatGPT can be your menu planner, your recipe finder, and your shopping list generator all in one. Start with a food planning prompt. Plan a potluck-style menu for a family reunion of combien, your number, people, we have. And list your dietary needs, for example, 2 vegans, 3 gluten-free guests, 1 tree nut allergy. Include a suggested list of 12 dishes organized by course: appetizers, mains, sides, and desserts. A note about which dishes work well for large batches and which are easy for guests to transport. If you are handling all the food yourself rather than doing a potluck, ask ChatGPT to generate a full shopping list. Based on this menu, create a grocery list organized by store section 4. Your number. People, assuming standard serving sizes and 15% extra for seconds. That 15% buffer is something experienced caterers always build in, and it is easy to forget. You can also ask ChatGPT to create a food team assignment sheet, a prompt like create a sign-up sheet template for a potluck family reunion with 12 dish slots, allergy labels, and space for guests to write their name and the dish they are bringing. Saves you from manually building that document yourself. Copy it into Google Docs and share the link. Step 7. Build your day of schedule and checklist. The week before the reunion is when most organizers feel the pressure really spike. ChatGPT can take a lot of that pressure off by generating a detailed reunion day timeline and a role assignment sheet so that no single person is trying to do everything at once. Try this prompt. Create a detailed reunion day schedule for a family reunion running from 11 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Include setup tasks starting at 9, a timeline for arrival, lunch, afternoon activities, group photo, and cleanup. Also create a volunteer role sheet with 5 job titles: greeter, food coordinator, activity lead, photographer, and logistics runner, with a 3-bullet description of each role's responsibilities. Once you have the schedule, ask ChatGPT for a contingency plan. Something like, what should I do if it rains on reunion day and we plan to be outdoors? Give me a step-by-step pivot plan that I can execute with 12 hours notice. Building a documented backup plan in advance means you are never caught flat-footed when weather or another unexpected issue pops up, and something always does. Finally, wrap up your planning session by asking ChatGPT to pull everything together. Summarize all of the planning decisions we have made in this conversation into a single master document organized by category: date and venue, budget, menu, activities, schedule, and volunteer roles. Print that document or save it somewhere accessible. It becomes your reunion Bible. Now, before we wrap up, let us talk about some tips for getting the absolute best results from ChatGPT every time you sit down to plan. First, be specific from the start. The more context you give, family size, ages, budget, location, dietary needs, the better the output. Vague prompts produce generic answers. That is just the reality of how the tool works. Second, build on previous answers. Stay in the same conversation thread so ChatGPT remembers what you have already discussed. Starting a new conversation means starting from scratch. Think of each conversation as a project folder. Keep everything related to your reunion in one place. Third, ask for formats that match your workflow. If you want a table, say so. If you need bullet points, numbered steps, or a formal letter, specify the format in your prompt. ChatGPT will match what you ask for. Fourth, follow up when something is off. If an answer does not feel quite right for your family, just say so. Something like, that is close, but make the tone a little warmer. Or, simplify this for someone who is not tech-savvy. Both work perfectly well as follow-ups. You're having a conversation. Treat it like one. Fifth, double-check factual details. ChatGPT is excellent at structure, writing, and brainstorming, but always verify venue addresses, pricing, and vendor details through direct research before committing to anything. The AI gives you a strong starting point. You supply the real-world verification. Sixth, and this one gets overlooked, use it for the boring stuff too. Reminder emails, RSVP tracking templates, name badge designs, thank you note drafts, all of that is fair game. ChatGPT is just as useful for the small tasks as the big ones, and those small tasks are often what eat up the most time. Now let us take a moment for some frequently asked questions. First one, is ChatGPT free to use for family reunion planning? Yes. The free plan at chatgpt.com is fully capable of handling every task we talked about today. You do not need to pay for a Plus or Pro subscription to plan a family reunion effectively. Second question, can ChatGPT book venues or send invitations for me? No, ChatGPT is a text-based assistant. It helps you write, plan, and brainstorm, but it cannot make phone calls, submit booking requests, or send emails on your behalf. You will need to take its outputs and act on them yourself. Think of it as giving you the blueprint. You are still the one swinging the hammer. Third question, how do I keep ChatGPT on track during a long planning session? Open one dedicated conversation for your reunion planning and return to it each time you work on the project. At the start of each new session, briefly recap where you left off. Something like, we are planning a 60-person reunion in July in Ohio. Last time we finished the budget. Today I want to work on the activity schedule. That context sets ChatGPT up for a productive session every single time. Fourth question, what if ChatGPT gives me an answer that does not fit my family? Simply tell it so and ask for a revision. ChatGPT is designed for back-and-forth conversation. Saying, that activity list skews too young, please add options that work for guests in their 60s and 70s will get you a much better result than starting over from scratch. The more you push back constructively, the better the output gets. And fifth, can I use ChatGPT to plan a reunion for 100 or more people? Absolutely. The same prompting strategies apply regardless of group size. Just specify the number of attendees in your opening context. For very large reunions, consider breaking the planning into separate ChatGPT conversations by category. One for logistics, one for food, one for activities. So each conversation stays focused and easy to manage. All right, let us bring this all together. Planning a family reunion does not have to be an overwhelming solo project. ChatGPT is like having a thoughtful co-planner who never sleeps and never runs out of patience. You give it context, it gives you structure. You follow up, it refines. By the time the big day arrives, you will have a master checklist, a confirmed budget, a full menu plan, an activity schedule that works for all ages, and a reunion day runbook that spreads the work across your whole family. And the best part? You will be able to show up to your own reunion ready to enjoy it, instead of running around stressed from the moment the first car pulls in. If you found this podcast useful, give us a like and follow us. Leave us your comments. If you want the full written guide, head over to AI4everyone.ai. The link will be in the show notes. And while you are there, subscribe to our free newsletter. Every week we cover one AI topic in plain English. No jargon, no hype. Just practical stuff you can actually use. This episode was written by humans and AI. It was read by an AI voice. Thanks for listening to the Simple AI Guide. Join us for the next episode.